All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. We have so much to cover. I'm excited again to have Jenny Hunt with me. Jenny, how are you today?
Sorry, I was muted. Hi.
Oh, no problem.
Hi,
Um,
everybody.
how are things out in Portland?
They are rainy.
It rained here today too, here in Texas. Hey,
Uh,
Cindy's from Texas. All right.
nice.
Um, so, guys, we did this a couple few nights ago and had a really good time doing it.
hmm
But we thought we'd do it again because not everybody that wanted to be on in the evening could be. So here we are. It's Thursday afternoon. Seems like the weeks are flying by, and Q4 will be here before we know it.
hmm
So, guys, we're going to talk about private label the easy way revealed, but we're going to talk about it in reference to some of the news that are that's coming out with Amazon with brand restrictions. So. Real quick before we go into the presentation, if anytime it's ever blurry or anything like that, at the bottom of the screen you can click reconnect. And also I'm going to post very quickly the YouTube link, and I should have this copied. I've copied something else, and there's the YouTube link, guys, if you want to watch it on YouTube as well. It's an option as well, and a lot of folks say it might actually be clearer on YouTube than it is Google Hangouts. So, all right, let's jump into it, Jenny. This is private label easy way revealed. Stay tuned at the end, guys. We have a super sweet bonus
Yep.
to give you, and that you guys can take advantage of. But the question on everybody's mind, though, of course, right now is: are retail and online arbitrage dead? Now, my wife watches all these shows that the home shows where they reveal stuff. So this is like the big reveal moment, where they did all the work on the house. So for us, Jenny and I say no. We do not feel that retail and online arbitrage are dead. Do we feel that they are harder now? Well, the slide on Monday night, I said yes, but Jenny made me, if we were talking about it, she was like, well, it doesn't have to be. So, Jenny, what's your opinion on all this? You do the holiday toy guide every year, so toys are a big thing. So people that, that are focused on retail and online arbitrage with their business, that's where their main income is.
hmm
How are they supposed to take this news, and what are they supposed to do about it?
Yeah, I don't think it has to be harder. I just posted earlier this week on my Facebook page. Every year I've been doing this for 12 or 13 years, and
Hmm.
every year there's something that comes up. And I mean, there was, more recently, the
Right.
Frozen issue where those were restricted, anything that was Frozen, Star Wars. Um, there was a big deal with, I can't remember the details of it, but with
Hmm.
lead in toys.
Hmm.
And so that caused, everything seems to cause a big panic. And I think
Right.
that if just stay calm and look at it as an opportunity, and
Right.
instead of just reacting,
Hmm.
we can actually find some silver lining. And one thing that I've seen over and over and over again when this happens is a lot of sellers just drop out. They're done.
Hmm. Hmm.
Forget this. Well, that's awesome for the people who stick around
Right.
because there's less competition. So
Right. Right.
when you're willing to adopt your business or adapt your business
Uh-huh.
and you know look for opportunity there, you
Hmm.
you tend to beat the competition out. Also, still, there are millions of items to sell. Right now we're at, I think it's 5.7 million
Oh
items into
my
the toys and games category. And
goodness.
that um a
What was
couple
that
weeks
last
ago,
year? Or could even
last
just a
year
week?
it was maybe a little more than half that.
Wow.
The top 5% of that is like what, 270 something thousand.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
usually you don't hit that number until you're in Q4 as
Right.
far as what the
Right.
top 5% is. So there are millions of items to sell still. You just need to know what you're looking for. And if you're really
Hmm.
concerned and you're still want to are doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, just stay away from the brand driven items.
Hmm.
There's plenty of items that you can kind of stay under the radar with Amazon. And I think right now this whole thing is still in flux too.
Hmm.
So we're not really sure how it's going to all pan out, when it's going to stop, when they're going to stop
Hmm.
putting, laying on more restrictions. They might
Hmm.
pull back and provide some relief there too. So in the meantime, I would just stay, either if you're not going to go try to get ungated in these, not, get
Right. Get
unrestricted
approval. Yeah.
approval. Thank you.
Hmm.
Then just stick with the non-brand driven items. But your business can still totally thrive. And what we're going to
Absolutely.
talk about today, definitely look at more. multiple revenue streams, so you don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. And if you're in a store and you're scanning stuff and you're used to buying 15 or 20, maybe buy 4 to 5, because
Right.
then when you go home and list it and find out it's restricted, well, you've only spent your money on 4 to 5 items instead of 15 to 20.
Yeah, go wide. There's plenty of items out there. Go wide instead of deep.
Absolutely. My friend and mentor Jim Cockrum talks about $100 bills flying around in the wind. You just got to grab them. A lot of people don't see those opportunities. And if you guys my big piece of advice is be around other sellers, get into Facebook groups, get into communities where people can encourage you. And, you don't have to be going at this alone. You'll learn so much just by, being a part and going to conferences and being part of groups with other people. So, all right. So I have in this presentation 2 options that you can do. And Jenny kind of already mentioned it. There's going to be people that decide, I'm done. This is the end of my Amazon business. For them, it might just been a hobby anyway. Or, they're just not a part of these groups where they feel like they have a community and some support. So they're just going to go back to their job or learn to adapt and keep moving forward. And for me, that's the way it is. I mean, my business is always changing, it seems like. And it's not even because of Amazon necessarily. Some of you guys might know my story, and I'm not going to go into it all here because there's other stuff I want to cover. But very briefly, I started back in 2008. My wife and I were selling furniture on Craigslist. And then one day, in April of 2012, I believe it was, we wake up and find that a lot of our Craigslist listings were being deleted. We think it was a competitor. There was software out there, auto flagging software that you can auto flag somebody else's ad and get it removed. Not fun when your whole business is based on one platform. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do. Now, thankfully, some of the other cities were still up, but it was a huge decrease in our business, and we needed to do something different. We could tell that Craigslist was no longer going to be the way to move forward. Here's a picture of me in front of the garage that the house we used to live in, full of furniture from front to back. I'm telling you guys, Craigslist was our only thing that we were making money on. And then I met Jim Cockrum in 2012. He had an auction for a book, that one right there that we're holding, 101 Free Marketing. Got to meet him, and he told us about Amazon FBA. And our business has never been the same, but there's been changes since then. Things have happened, like Jenny talked about, Star Wars and Frozen and all kinds of different things that come about that you can't control. So are you going to sit there and complain about it and quit? Or are you going to move forward and find a way to keep your business thriving? And we're going to show you what we feel is a way to adapt. And I know you guys if you're on this webinar, you're not looking to quit and go back to your job. You're obviously looking for information to adapt and thrive. And so already congratulations on that. In 2013, I found private label, and out of all of the inventory methods out there, this is my favorite. And I'll show you why here in a minute. And we just feel like that one way to adapt is private label. And so what is private label? And you guys probably already understand this, already know. It's basically having your own brand of an item. And we were talking about the other day, if Amazon is restricting brands, why not create your own brand and be above that, and not have to worry about, this brand, that brand. Have your own, and then you control it, as much as you possibly can. So the easy way definition, and I like doing things the easy way. I don't like the hard way. You'll learn that from me. And I think we all kind of do. But it's having your own brand, having your own. It's your own. You can control it. But the question I have for you guys is, what if you had 1 or 2 products that consistently did 5,000 or more in sales each month? What would that do for your life, for your business? Now, that's not a ton of sales, and that's so very, very doable. And a lot of you might be asking, why aren't you putting numbers on there like 50,000 a month in sales for a product, or 100,000? Now, guys, that's doable too. And I know people and have very, very close friends that are doing those kind of numbers with private label products. But for some folks, if you've never done private label, those numbers might not seem achievable or attainable. But 5,000 totally does, because that's probably, you might be doing that with a retail arbitrage product. It wouldn't be hard, and Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong here, it wouldn't be hard to go out and find a replenishable product at a Walmart that you could sell maybe 5,000 in a month of. maybe a bundle does that for you already. So just think about having, you know, 1 or 2 products that each did that. If it was 30% profit, which is not unheard of, it'd be $1,500 profit on one item. What if you had 5 of those items? That's serious money, guys. And you could, the way I look at it is you could have 10 SKUs instead of 5,000 SKUs.
Right.
I prefer simple. Some people like to go have a ton of different SKUs, sell a whole bunch of different stuff, and that's totally fine. I'd rather just manage a few and have it do the same output, have the same sales volume as my 5,000 SKUs does. So.
Right, and that's what private label brings you. And with retail arbitrage, it's harder to have that smaller number of SKUs because you are always sourcing.
Yep, you're always out there.
Yep.
And so this is the next slide on here is like what this might be what you would feel like if you had a couple products each doing $5,000 in sales, and they were your own private label, and all you have to do is keep reordering them. And I'm telling you guys, I'm serious. This is very doable. This is not, you know, something that will take years and years and years to get to. You could have a product doing this in you know, in days, weeks, not months and years. So that's what we're here to tell you. And so why I love private label. First one is no competition. So I know Jenny's the author of the Holiday Toy Guide. So Jenny, tell me about toys and like some of the competition that people deal with. And you may not even need to tell them, they probably know, but you know, like it's not unheard of to have a Lego set or something that's hundreds of sellers on it, right?
That's absolutely right. And I mean, again, that's part of the strategy of going with non-brand driven, but yeah, no, I mean, people are, there are, you know, think of the movie Jingle All the Way and with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they are like out for these toys, and sellers are out to find these, to list them. And yeah, you're looking at 100 or more sellers on an item. It's very competitive,
right?
Doable, but competitive.
Yep.
No fun.
And so with private label, guys, you are the only seller. You have the buy box 100% of the time. So if you're selling an item retail arbitrage and there's 5 people on the listing, you know, you're lucky. Maybe you have the buy box 20% of the time if it's just divided equally. Now, you know, that doesn't always happen that way, but you are the only seller. Every single sale of that item goes to you. So number one, no competition is a huge thing. And that's the one of the main reasons why I love it. Number two is replenishable. Now, I know that you guys all understand this. If you've done any retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, say you go into a Walmart and you scan an item, you go into clearance and you find an amazing deal. You get it home, you list, say you bought all of them they had and there were 20 of them. You get them listed. As soon as they get to Amazon, they sell. And then you see that and like, oh my gosh, I got to find more of these. And you go on to all the other Walmarts in your area, drive for miles and miles and miles, and you cannot find these anywhere. You look at them online, look for them online, can't find them anywhere. With private label, once you get it selling, your only job, the main thing you have to do is just to keep it in stock. Now, I know that sounds like, oh, that's easy, but sometimes that's even a challenge if it's selling really well, just to maintain your inventory levels, especially if we're doing it the harder way and ordering it from China, managing that shipping time and all of that and trying to get that worked out to where you stay in stock can be a challenge. But the beautiful thing about private label is you just keep it in stock and you keep making sales. You never have to, you're not driving all over town looking for those items. Guys,
so that's just maybe a question to ask you guys. Ask yourself, how much time are you spending if you're doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage? How much time and energy are you spending sourcing?
Right.
Because the private label really cuts that down to what, I don't know, cuts it probably 99% of that time off, because you'd still have to set up the product, but once it's done, it's just replenishable.
Yeah, kind of all the work is done in the front. It's all front loaded, and once you get it selling, you just kind of watch it. I mean, there's things you need to do, and we get into that in lessons later on. But right, but it's just so much. It's a great use of the time. You do the research, you find a good product, you get it sold. This momentum, and you just keep replenishing it. So number two, why I love private label. Number three is it's virtually unlimited. Now there's certain things you might not want to do a private label of. For example, a large refrigerator or an iPhone. Something like an iPhone is brand driven. People are buying that phone because they want an iPhone or they want a Samsung. But other than like some brand driven items like that or very large things, it's virtually an unlimited amount of inventory that you can potentially private label. It's just unlimited.
Yep.
all I have to say about that. Build your own brand. Again, this is beautiful. You can do with it what you want. You don't have to worry about Amazon's brand restrictions. We'll talk about it in the next one. But don't limit your thinking to Amazon. Would it be a good fit for a retail store? Now, I'm not talking about Walmart here. Now, maybe, but are there mom and pop shops that would be interested in your brand? So if you get it selling on Amazon, the world's largest online marketplace, how much leverage do you have if you go into a mom and pop store and say, hey, I'm the number one selling this on Amazon, or I'm in the top 10 of this item on Amazon. It's selling really well. I'm selling, 10 a day. I'm selling even 3 a day, whatever it is. That's impressive. And so why not go to a mom and pop store and say, hey, would you carry this for me? And then you're in retail stores.
They want a piece of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason Tay, I mentioned him in the last webinar, but I just saw something even more recently. He's not coming to CES this year. It's a conference next week in Nashville. He's not coming to CES because he's going to be at a trade show, and he's not at a trade show to attend. He's showing at the trade show. One of his private label products he is displaying there at the trade show. That's awesome. That's really cool. And so he's on the other side. We're always worried about, talking to vendors, what to say. Now he's on the other side, and people are, he's probably got Amazon sellers coming up to him trying to sell his stuff on Amazon. But, just think outside the box. Amazon's not the only place to do this. You have other online platforms, eBay, Rakuten, Newegg, some others I've never heard of, Jet. But in your own e-commerce website, there's just so many places to expand beyond just Amazon. It's your own brand. You can do with it what you want.
Right.
And then lastly, and most importantly, for the topic of the day, is it's immune to Amazon brand restrictions. It doesn't matter what Amazon does with Disney and Nike and Under Armour. This is your own brand. You can do what you want. Now, you are in their sandbox, and you have to abide by their rules, and they could make changes that can affect you still. It's just the way it is because you're on their platform. But you're immune to these new changes that they're coming out with, and it's just such a relief. It's like you no longer have to think about, oh gosh, I have to, if retail and online arbitrage your only business model, I understand if anybody out there is scared about the future of it. That's understandable. And so hopefully you guys will present something, hopefully you're seeing that private label is an answer to that and the solution to that. I imagine you probably already know that if you're on this webinar. But we just want to give you some encouragement that it's not the end of your Amazon sales.
Right.
You can totally do this. You can get past this. You can adapt, like my wife and I did with the Craigslist thing, and like Jenny's done many times with different businesses that she's had. And there's things you can't control, and don't complain about it. Don't be up. I understand being upset about it, but move forward, and we are here to help you out.
Yep.
So here's the inventory pyramid. This is the pyramid of inventory sourcing, and this is something that in the book Beyond Arbitrage that John Bullard Sr. and I wrote. I put this in there, and it's basically just a model of all the different sources of inventory for an online physical product business. Now, most people, they start at the bottom with selling physical items from around their house, and then move up to private label. And they sometimes go through all these, and sometimes they don't. I actually kind of started with wholesale, with selling furniture, and then went down and did retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. I've done some thrift stores, not a whole lot of consignment, but I have done some stuff selling around the house. The point of showing you guys this is that there's very little barrier to entry down here. So that this means that really anybody could open up an Amazon account, a seller account, get an app on their phone, and go into a local store and begin sourcing products. Now, Amazon is making this a little bit more challenging for the new people that come in. And so for you guys that are strong and are going to adapt, that's good news for you. Because as Jenny said, the competition is going to, start to thin out some with some of these newer restrictions. When you get to wholesale, a little bit higher barrier to entry, but you still have no control over it because you're selling somebody else's product. And then we're talking about private label. Up here, you have full control. Now, I mean, full control, as much as you possibly can. Again, you're on Amazon's platform, and they have certain rules, and they could shut your account down for infractions that you do. But as far as much control as there is, private label is the way to go because you own it. It's your brand, and you can do with it what you want. Jenny, if I'm talking too fast, feel free to jump in, or want to make sure that
You're doing
it's
great.
much enjoyable to dialogue than me just talking. So private label this harder, scarier way. Now, I imagine you guys already know what this is. In my opinion, the harder, scarier way would be ordering from Alibaba.com, ordering from a manufacturer in China. And let me tell you this, I have friends that do this and do very, very well with it. There's absolutely, absolutely nothing wrong with sourcing this way. The reason I came up with private label the easy way was because when I got started in 2013 with private label, I just was not at a position financially to do what I needed to do to get a product sourced overseas. So I needed to find a different way to do it. And so that's how this was born. If you guys get into this, there's people in our mentoring program, Jenny, that are doing it. They ask questions
That's
about
right.
China agents and sourcing agents and how to do overseas customs and stuff. And that's fine. Go for it, guys. I'm all for that.
Yeah, and we do
That just
have
wasn't for me. Go
we
ahead.
do have people in there too who are experts who have done
Yes,
that, who are helping to
absolutely.
answer some of those questions.
Yep, Skip McGrath's in there, and he actually sources a lot from overseas.
Mhm.
Jason Tay sources overseas.
Joy.
Joy Packard's been to China twice, I believe now,
Yep.
for sourcing trips. And so I may not be the expert on this method, but there are people in there that are, and I'm learning more of it. I'm part of a group
Right.
of guys that we bought some stuff and we get it overseas. So I do understand a lot about it. That's just not where I would say that's not where I'm interested in it either. I prefer the easy way. So
Yeah.
the harder, scarier way, dealing with someone in a foreign country, these are just some things that, some challenges that you have to overcome. Once you do it, it may not be a big deal anymore for the people that do it all the time, but dealing with someone in a foreign country, what's the language going to be? Are they going to understand me? How do I communicate with them? The time difference is a big deal. These are things, just from experiences I've talked to with folks in my MMA group that source overseas. The high shipping costs. This is incredibly high. Shipping, especially air freight. If you ship air freight, it's going to cost a whole lot more than shipping it over the ocean. But over the ocean takes a really long time. Air freight, you can get it much faster, but it's a huge cost. High minimums for me, guys. This was the biggest one, the biggest barrier for when I started private label, that I had to find somebody in the United States to do it. So the product that I was interested in doing, it was about $10 for the source, to go to the source. So $10 times 1,000 was $10,000 times, if they wanted 3,000 units, that'd be $30,000. Now, I don't know about you. I didn't have that kind of money sitting around to be able to invest in a product before I even knew it was going to be successful. So that was the biggest thing. This was the biggest hurdle for me, was the high minimum orders that you need when sourcing overseas. Customs, I didn't understand this at all. This just completely scared me. What are you going to do? How do you get it across? I've heard stories about people's stuff being stuck in customs at the border and they didn't release it for a really long time. Long wait times. If you're sourcing from China, it's easy 60 to 90 days before you get your product. So if you are looking to do, go ahead. You were probably going to say what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
No, I would if are you going to say about if you're wanting to do it for Q4, it's over?
Absolutely. Yes.
Go ahead, explain.
I was going to jump in.
Please do.
If you're with Q4, I mean, we are a month away, and there's no way you could be successful doing this harder way. That you just won't have your product in time. Right. If you want to get in for Q4, and I am telling you, you want to get in for Q4.
Yep. If you guys haven't done Q4 yet, you're in for a treat. It's especially folks that started maybe in May or June. Man, you might feel like, man, I can't ever quit my job with this opportunity, because things do slow down in the summer. They don't have to. If you're sourcing the right things, summer can be as good as any other month. For me personally, it does slow down. I just must not be sourcing the right products. But there is a dip, and it's always higher in Q4. It's always, as John Bullard Sr., our friend, says, anything that's not nailed down will sell in Q4. It's just, it moves, stuff moves, things that you've had in your inventory for months and months and months. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember that I had that in my inventory, and that sold. So it's really, really cool. But Jenny's right. You're way too late if you're trying to source from China and you're starting now to have a product in by Q4. But with the easy way, it's not. So what is the easy way? So basically, it's sourcing domestically, and I'll tell you my story very quickly. went through a program, learned about private label, had an idea for a product, and actually contacted a manufacturer locally to me that that makes items that were similar in the same niche. And so they said they could make my product, but it would be more expensive for them to make it than for me to buy it from this wholesale company across town. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he pointed me to a manufacturer, actually a wholesaler in Dallas, that already imports these items from China. So they were already doing all that, taking care of all the customs, all the shipping. Now I pay a little bit higher price than if I went straight to the source. But again, I didn't have the money to spend on 1,000 of these or 3,000 of these. So I started small. And so I found a manufacturer, or I found a wholesaler locally. And guys, there are suppliers all over the United States, all over the country where you live, and I guarantee it, that will allow you to do the easy way method. There are suppliers with private label programs already in place. If you go to certain websites or go to their websites, sometimes there'll be something that says custom, or it might just say private label. Especially in the grocery and health and beauty niche, they have private label programs. They're used to doing this. Companies do this all the time. In my book, we talk about Red Gold. It's a tomato processing company up in Indiana, where I'm originally from, and they make private label ketchup and salsa for different brands. So you guys are walking through a Walmart and you see Great Value brand, for example, in the Walmart shelves. You know, Walmart doesn't have their own tomato plants, or they don't grow their own, own vegetables. They go to these other companies and just, have these companies put it in the same can, but then just put the Great Value label around it. That's essentially what private label is. And there are companies that already have programs in place, that already understand it, that have designers in-house that can create a logo for you, or create the label for you. And some of them have very low minimums and make it very, very, very easy. And guys, even wholesale companies. And this is the biggest deal. And this is the thing that opens up you to a world of opportunity. Some of you on here may be doing wholesale already, just not doing private label. And you think the jump from wholesale to private label is a big one. I'm telling you, I promise you it's not. It is very easy to get a wholesale company to allow you to do the private label, the easy way method. There's so many wholesale suppliers in the United States. Go to a trade show like ASD, where there are thousands and thousands of vendors. I was just there early in August with a group of people. I walked them around and did a tour, and we found there was talked to so many vendors, and I promise you, only one out of the many, many, many that we talked to didn't even want their products on Amazon, even if it was on a different brand, which is weird. Never ever come across that. But all the other ones, every single one of them were like, oh, you want to take our product, take it out of the package and put in your own packaging under your own brand? Oh, that's fine. You can do that all day long. They don't care. Whereas you might go up to them and say, okay, I want to put, you guys understand this. You go, you probably, because you've been to trade shows and you scan stuff and you talk to them about selling on Amazon, and they're like, well, we've already got 10 sellers on Amazon. We don't want any more, or they don't want anybody on Amazon at all. But that's if you're using their brand and selling their brand. But if you take it out, you're with their permission again, and if it's not like has their actual brand imprinted on the actual item, you can take it out of the box, take it out of the packaging, put it in your own, and they're cool with it. And in a lot of cases, we talk to companies that already are doing this, and they're wholesale companies. They're not the manufacturer, they're the wholesaler, and they're already doing private label the easy way for other clients. So minimums as low as one case. For me, this was the biggest one. This was the biggest reason that I had to go the easy route, is because I couldn't afford the 1,000 to 3,000 units. I was able to buy one case of 12 and get started.
That's
now,
awesome.
I suggest ordering more just because you need the momentum to get going, and you want to create some momentum with your sales and reviews. But you can order as low as one case, and they'll allow you to do the easy way with it. And I'm telling you, at ASD last month, all day long, they were like, yeah, you don't need to, there's no minimum, or a minimum is one case, or a minimum is $100. Jenny, have you noticed, like, going to trade shows, like the minimum orders used to be big. Now they're like $100, $200.
Yeah. And actually I found an item, I could private label and just get one at a time, but I wouldn't recommend it. But and the other thing though too, is even if you're getting one case, and you kind of touched on this, is you do want to have that momentum. So having 12 in a case, that's not really enough to be building. You don't want to run out.
Right.
especially when you're just getting going. So you want to be able to have that. But if you are one thing to consider is if you have like if the company is close by and you can actually go and pick up a case or buy them from the manufacturer, warehouse, wholesaler, whatever, right there,
Yeah.
then maybe you don't need to buy as many cases up front because you
Sure.
can replenish them quickly.
Yeah, you can get them fast. Yeah, that's why with me, and we'll talk about shipping here in just a
Sorry.
second. No, that's totally fine. No, that's right in line. Is that I have the company I get mine from in Dallas. They'll deliver to my house, and we have a neighbor girl that comes over and helps us process it, and I can have it the same day. So for that one, you can order a lot less. If you have to wait 2 weeks, then you would need to order more because, as Jenny said, you don't want to run out.
But there's a full spectrum of how much that they will. The limitation is not on their end; it's more on what you want to do and how you want to build that momentum.
Exactly. You're right. And a lot of them will say, I mean, literally, they were like, yeah, you can buy one to start off with. I'm like, one? Like, seriously? I can really only buy one. That's no problem. Yeah, that's fine. Just, they want your business. These are sales reps at these at these booths. They want to get you started. They want to build a relationship with you. We talk about this, and Jenny and I are also involved with another program about wholesale. And one of the things we talk about there is that those reps need you just as much as you need them. They need to feed their family. They just want you to place an order. These wholesale companies that we're talking about with private label, the easy way, they just want you to buy from them. They know you go right around the corner onto another aisle, you're going to find almost the exact same item. And they know that their competitors are right there close by. So they want that relationship with you. So whatever they have to do to get that order, they're going to do.
Right.
So, but wholesale makes it so easy. Going the wholesale route to do private label, the crazy low minimums just make the barrier to entry so low. No customs issues. I don't have to even really talk anything about that. You guys know what that can mean, the headaches that relieves. Low shipping cost. Again, this depends on where you are. For $25, they'll have a guy deliver me a truckload full of the item that I want. If you're across the country, it may be more than that. It will be more than that, but it's just way lower than air freight or ocean freight sourcing from overseas. And they can even ship to Amazon for you. Many of them. There's a company that we found at the trade show that has a built-in FBA program, and they're familiar with FBA. They understand the FN SKU label. They understand the whole process. You can buy wholesale from them, do bundles, and you can do private label the easy way through them. And I'm actually going to probably have this guy on a webinar, Jenny, and go just to explain what they can do for these folks, and how this company makes it so easy. So imagine, guys, that you don't even have to see the inventory. Now, maybe the first order you'd want to. If you bought it at a trade show and you're able to check it out, maybe you're comfortable with them sending it straight to Amazon for you, and that's fine. But there's also prep companies. We have a friend, John Bullard Sr., that owns a prep company in Tennessee that I use from one of my products. Guys, I literally do not even see this item. They get it, and they will put it in a poly bag for me, and they'll put my sticker on top of it and send it to Amazon for me and just charge me. And I never have to touch it. Now, the fact that I don't have a warehouse. I used to, but I went back. A lot of people go from their house being full of stuff to a warehouse because their wife can't stand it. Now we're back to our house is basically empty of inventory because we're doing private label. It just makes it so much easier, and I don't have to go to a warehouse every day. So if you want the option of having a supplier send your inventory to Amazon for you, can totally do it using the easy way method. Since we're talking about trade shows, Blue asked, what are the best trade shows for sourcing products domestically? Oh my gosh, any of them. Literally any of them. We were at a trade. It wasn't even a trade show. This was back in. It was 2014. I was in Denver speaking at a small internet marketing conference, and the leader of the group took everybody to the Denver home show. This was just a regular home show that was open to the whole public, and vendor after vendor of different items, of grocery items, home improvement type items. And there were people, all the attendees for the internet marketing conference were there trying to get to get exclusive contracts on Amazon, and they were wildly successful because most of these vendors are just there to sell their stuff retail, and you're providing a great option for them on Amazon. But
Yeah.
the biggest one for me, and Jeannie, you can talk because I know you have experience with this too. The biggest one for me is ASD because there's so many there. It's just an easy place to see a ton of them all at once. So I'd say for me, ASD, but I mean, honestly, Blue, any trade show, any place there's a company selling products would be a great place to find private label suppliers.
I found, I mean, I like to go where I enjoy and what I'm passionate about. So there's a lot of real tight niche shows out there, and I love coffee, and I love going to Coffee Fest, and it's a smaller show, and definitely focused towards people, you know, starting up their own coffee shops and baristas and all of that. They have furniture, you know, everything across the board, but they also have some grocery products that isn't even coffee. And a lot of those people, I don't think very many, well, maybe more Amazon people go there now because Barrington's talked a lot about it, but most of the, I'm trying to think, I've never got a no from anybody talking there based on, you know, no, there's too many people selling.
Right.
Usually people are very interested in really, what are you talking about? And private, and I'm just talking for retail arbitrage or wholesale.
Right.
But even we have gone the next level with them and talked about private label, never gotten a no from any of them. And it's fun for me because it's a smaller show and I like those relationships in that niche. And we're looking at going to the outdoor show in Utah. Again, that's just something that we're interested in. So I like the tighter niche, the smaller shows. I actually haven't been to ASD. I can't imagine how overwhelming that would be. I mean, it's huge, but there's benefit to that too. So, but really, yeah, any show where people are going to be there, and even like the little, I think Skip, he goes to like farmers markets.
Yes.
And he'll even get his own label there.
Yep.
You know, so there's people, you know, just local vendors who don't have a clue about how big this can go for them. And you can really help them, and they just would be open to talking to you. So sky's the limit.
Yeah. And then, so you touched on it again, and just for anybody that may have joined, this is the crux of private label the easy way. If you go to a trade show, and we talk a lot about trade shows, Gene, and I'll answer your question, is you can find products outside of trade shows for sure. We talk very little about trade shows in the lessons. It's just, for me, it's a great place because there's so many vendors all in one location, but you can do all of this from a laptop in Bora Bora. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
That's how I do ASD.
Yeah. So you do it from a lap. You go to Bora Bora.
No.
You go to the coast of Oregon, right?
That's right. I go to the coast of Oregon.
Yeah, Cindy, ASD's in Las Vegas. It's March and August of every year. It's just a huge trade show. And the reason I talk about it is because I've been there a lot, and it's a great location for a bunch of vendors. But the reason, guys, that this works is if you go to a show or you're picking up the phone and calling wholesalers and trying to sell their product on Amazon, you say the word Amazon, some are going to be like, oh, great, wonderful, that I want you to. Most of the time, though, now, they're going to be like, you know what, I don't want either. I don't want my product on Amazon, because I've heard horror stories from other companies, other business owners saying, you know, you get your product on Amazon and then 50 people are on there and they devalue your brand because the prices on there get tanked. You guys know this because you're doing retail arbitrage. Can you imagine if you are the brand owner of those items that say that they got it in Walmart and they're happy because now their item's selling in Walmart? Awesome. They hit the jackpot. And it's selling for retail 20. They wholesale it to Walmart for 10, let's say. And that's great. But then they see their item selling on Amazon for 15. They're like, oh, wait, no, it's supposed to be 20. But they can't control it. What are they supposed to do? Amazon's a wild, wild west out there. Who do they call? And so brand owners are calling Amazon saying, hey, you got to help us out. You know, our brand should be $20 retail. It's selling for 15. And oh, wait, somebody else has now dropped the price. Now it's 10 and 12. And then sometimes it's below the wholesale. It's crazy. So if you say Amazon, it brings up all of these feelings. But if you go to them and say, I want to buy your product, but I want to put it under my brand, my name. They're like, absolutely. I don't care what you do with it. Once you buy it, and you're not using our name, our brand name, we don't care what you do with it. For them, it's an order, it's a sale, and they're happy to do it for you. So that's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
To dig in about the trade shows, no, you don't have to do this at a trade show at all. You can do this from your computer. There's so many ways you can search for suppliers, and we talk about it in the lessons.
And
Yep.
just real quick, not being able to travel, I get it. I have some issues where I can't fly right now, and ASD is free. And once you register for it, you get access to the vendor list and the exhibitor
Mm-hmm.
list, and you also then have access to any show specials that they have going on and all of that. So it's just a different way to still kind of attend. You don't get that face-to-face contact,
Right.
which is a bummer.
Yep.
But you get a huge list of vendors and exhibitors and wholesalers really that you can go through and start researching for private label.
Yep. So, guys, Jenny just gave you a huge tip. That's worth your whole price of the webinar, which didn't cost you anything anyway. But that's a lot of value right there. Is if you can attend, don't want to attend, whatever reason, you're not going to go to that trade show, but you're still interested in some of the vendors there, or you're just interested in the trade show. Register for it anyway. Most of them are free. And then you get access to the list. You can get a login for a lot of these sites and download the list and research it as if you're going to go to it. You can also contact these vendors and say, hey, I registered for ASD, wasn't able to make it, but I'm interested in your price list. I'm interested in your catalog, all that kind of stuff. And you come at it as a attendee, even you're just kind of at a different level than just somebody who contacts them out of the blue. If you contact them, you registered to go, but you couldn't go. Right. Just kind of at a different level. So very valuable there.
You can do that with other shows too, like Coffee Fest. I don't know what it is this year, but it's like $20. It's super inexpensive. And I'm going to throw out one more little tip. And this one,
go for it. This is good.
Go to the shows that are ASD is great, but if you go to a show where you have to pay, your competition is going to be less because people are looking for the free shows to go to. Absolutely. Amazon sellers are looking for the free shows.
Yep.
So
that's good. Another really good tip.
Sorry.
That's good. I'm glad, guys. This is awesome. Jenny and I get on the phone and brainstorm ideas, and so it's a lot of fun. But much rather have her on here than me talking at you. Jenny, since you're on a roll, Laura Lee wants to know, what do you recommend to put on a business card? I can answer this if you don't.
Well, yeah, why don't you go ahead? I always blow it with this one, and I often forget my cards altogether. Let's just say that.
Okay, so guys, Jenny's giving a lot of good tips, but one thing, don't follow her, and as far as trade, don't follow her advice about not bringing cards or forgetting them. No, you definitely want business cards. I usually put senior buyer on there, and I actually learned that, I think, from John Bullard Sr. Senior buyer it's a term that most of these big companies, guys, have a purchasing department. In fact, my mother-in-law used to work for a company that had a whole purchasing department. She was in charge of it. And so the larger companies have these departments, and the people who are in that department are called buyers. That's their title. And so you could put senior buyer or buyer or whatever it is. And that just makes you look bigger than you really are. I know that most of you probably, like me, are working from home, and you don't have a huge office, you don't have 50 employees, but that doesn't mean you can't act like you do or present yourself as somebody that does. So I would definitely, senior buyer is one that I've heard and one that I actually use. And we'll get to all the questions here at the end, but since we're talking about trade shows, Jenny, Elliott, and Pam said, so how do you present yourself to a vendor at a trade show? How does company gain or have confidence in you? What if a food product turns out to be contaminated that you're selling? A lot of questions there, but first one, how do you present yourself? You just have confidence. You walk up there knowing that these are sales reps. They're just like you. They need to feed their family. And we go into this deep in the lessons in the program, but you present yourself with confidence, show them that you're there, you're a big deal. I mean, you don't be cocky, but
no, but you're there to do business.
And, absolutely, that's your job, and you look presentable. It doesn't mean you have to wear suits and ties, but you comb your hair, brush your teeth, and but mainly just have confidence. And I think one tip I talk about is, and even for me, you might think, oh, no way, he's so confident he can talk to anybody. But I'm a little bit nervous when I go into a trade show. Sometimes I feel like I have to get in the groove. So I'll even walk up to a vendor that is for a company that I have no desire to work with or buy their products, but just to kind of get in the role. And questions I might ask is, hey, how are you doing today? Just talk to them. How's the show going for you? What's your best seller is a big thing. Get them talking about their product.
You're interviewing them too.
You are interviewing them. Absolutely.
That's really what you're doing, and they know that.
Yep, and they're checking you out as well. The first thing they'll do is look at your badge. They want to know where you're from, because they want to make some kind of connection. Be like, oh, you're from Texas. Where from? Oh, my aunt lives there. That kind of stuff. You'll see them staring at your badge. It's like, well, hey, wait, my eyes are up here, not down here. And that's really, it's the way it is. They want to know how to address you, what company you're from. A lot of these trade shows say importer versus retailer versus wholesaler. So they want to know what type of company you are. And so, yes, they are totally checking you out to see, but you're interviewing them as well. You guys can go, and they know this. Like I said before, there are 50 other companies like them in the same show, and you're interviewing them to find out, well, why should I work with you versus this other company over here? And so those are just some tips. But have confidence. What if a food product turns out to be contaminated that you're selling? Honestly, Jenny, I don't know if I've not done a private label of food. I'm not saying I wouldn't. If there was an issue, the company that you buy it from would take care of that, and they would have insurance and stuff like that. But I haven't done any grocery items yet. But again, that's not a reason to stay away from it. No,
you can do it. And, there's more things to think about too with grocery that you don't have to worry about with other issues like expiration. And stuff like that. So it is there's more challenges with doing grocery products, and this is the easy way. So we're kind of looking at items that have the least challenges to.
Right, the least challenges. Yeah, Blue, right, as she said, food and supplements scare me too much liability. Yeah, I've not done any supplements. I know people that do well with it. I probably would stay away from it, just honestly. But then again, though, there's a lot of people that think the same way as me, and I'm going to stay away from it. Therefore, that's a great opportunity for somebody that understands it, is okay with the risk. So you can look at it both ways.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We could do a whole webinar and trade shows. And
oh my goodness, yeah,
everything.
Yeah. So this is good stuff. I really enjoy being able to give extra content, and for you guys to be able to. I want you guys to walk away, whether whatever whether the private label is a fit for you or not. I want you to walk away from any webinar that Jenny and I ever do feeling like, yeah, that was worth my time. I got some good content, and I promise you that what Jenny just said, talking about trade shows, was worth it. Registering for it and not having to show up. It's awesome. Back to the easy way. It's very fast. You don't have to wait months and months and months. I promise you that you can get started today and have a product selling by Q4 and it be selling well. So the 7-step test, these are the things that I look for a private label product. Generic, non-brand driven. This is number one because it's the most important. You're looking for items that are generic, non-brand driven. What's that mean? It means that these aren't items that people are buying because they are the brand name. So things to stay away from: Nike, Adidas, iPhone, Samsung, anything that is Lego. Absolutely. Those are items that are people buy them because that's what they are. They buy the brand. They're popular because they're that brand. So stay away from those types of items. You're looking for generic stuff. If you're going to a show or looking online, you're looking for items that don't have the brand name embossed in the item. It's basically an item that you could pull out of the packaging and nobody would know whether it was company A or company B's product. Those are the type of things that catch my eye when I'm looking for private label. And I promise, when you guys are getting into private label, you'll go through grocery stores and you'll see opportunity. As Jenny said, that Skip McGrath sources at farmers markets. You'll see opportunities everywhere you go. Be like, oh my gosh, I wonder if that guy is selling that. Because there's a farmer's market 20 minutes from here that my wife and I go to once in a while on a Saturday morning, and there's a guy, and I've never went up to them and talked to them about private label on Amazon just because there's so many other opportunities. But I know that, if he's not selling on Amazon, that I can help this guy out. He sells spices. There's guys that do, oh my gosh, jams and jellies and stuff. And so those would be easy things for you guys to do private labels of. So one thing we talked about in the last, and I'm kind of digressing or going on a rabbit trail here, but it's good content for you guys, is think about items that are from the area regionally where you're from. So Jenny's up in the Pacific Northwest, and we used this example a couple nights ago. So for her, let's say she's at a grocery store or going through a trade show or going through a home show there. What are some items that are specific to the Pacific Northwest that if I lived in the Northeast now, I really miss?
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the items that those folks that live in the Northeast are going to Amazon to search for, like, because
Right.
they can't get it anymore. It doesn't sell in Boston or whatever, so they have to go to Amazon to buy it. So what are the regional type things that you can take advantage of? So those are just just some ideas.
Yep.
That was free. Small. We're looking for small items. Obviously, you don't want to pay oversized fees, but if the margins are there, why not do oversized? These are just general things. These aren't things that you can't do. It's not that you can't private label an item that's oversized. It's just if you don't have to, why go small? It's just easier to deal with. Again, we're talking about the easy way, but that doesn't mean if you came to me and said, Ryan, I found this great opportunity, it's oversized, but the margins are still there, I can still make money on, go for it. That's fine. But typically we're looking for smaller items. We're looking for items that are easy to replicate. So if you want to make a change on it or whatever, it's easy to do that. Number 4, not many working parts. You guys understand what that means. Not a lot of electronics. I wouldn't be looking for,
alarm clocks.
computers, alarm clocks,
Yeah.
things that can break easy as far as, electronically. Again, that doesn't mean, because I've got all these people in the private label group telling them not many working parts. Now, there may be opportunities for private labels with working parts, but I wouldn't suggest that's where you would start. Generally, you would want something that is generic, non-brand driven, small, light, not many working parts. And retail price between $10 and $50. Again, very general. Obviously, for the $10, the reason why is you guys know you've been doing FBA for a while. You get below $10 and the FBA fees eat up your profit. But and we talked about this in the last webinar too. Christy's in our private label mentoring program. Christy Michelle, she and I did a webinar a few months ago about her method, which she launched a product in 4 weeks and under $100. And a lot of the items that she goes after are items that are cost below $1, and she can price them at $7, $8, $9, $10 and more. So that doesn't mean, you look at this, you might rule some of these things out, but all day long, I'll buy a product that I can buy for 50 cents and sell for $9. Is it below 10? Yeah, it's below 10, but still, that's great margins. Those are crazy margins.
And I wouldn't do that with retail arbitrage because you
Right.
have this competition and you need to have a little bit more leeway room with your your profit margin. But when you're doing private label, you own this and you're the only one selling it. So you don't have to worry about the price dropping down unless you decide to change the price. So
right.
If you're getting just a $2 profit on a really simple item that you can turn around, you're never touching, and it's replenished, why not?
Absolutely. And so for the $50 one, again, this is just very general. The reason I put $50 there is because if you get, below higher than $50 retail price, then your buy cost starts increasing. And we're talking about the easy way. Also, for me, it was the inexpensive way that I needed to go. So you get higher than 50, then it's, have to order 50 to get started, to get momentum. That's a lot of money. So that's why I put 10 to 50. Again, guys, these are very generic, general guidelines. Sales rank, obviously the lower the better. And we talk about in the program that if you're ordering from China, you want a very good sales rank because you're ordering a lot. You want them to move quickly. You want your turn your money and your inventory over fast. But if you're going the easy way and you can do it very fast, you can get a product going in just a few weeks, then sales rank is not as big of a deal. I mean, honestly, the answer is whatever you want it to be, whatever you're comfortable with. If you're doing retail arbitrage, one person, Jenny might say, that I'm going to go up to 100,000 in toys, and somebody else will say, oh, I'll go up to 250,000. I don't care. I don't mind if it sits there for 6 months and I sell it later. Everybody's business is different. There's not a right or wrong answer as far as sales rank. I know Skip talks a lot about having items that top 10% rank. I don't see too many people doing it. Talk about that. What's he say?
He doesn't even look at sales rank, I don't think.
Wow.
Well, and you have you have it's a different level of control. It's a different method than, looking at the retail arbitrage where you're using that's a big indicator for you when you're
Hmm.
outsourcing. With this, it's different because, I mean, one reason an item might not be ranking well is because of the title or the pictures or, whatever. And so you come
Hmm.
in with a similar item under your own brand and you've got really high end pictures, your title is optimized well,
Hmm.
you've got a good description, and you can drop that rank down, so that's it's a little different with private label. I'm not sure that I would get so caught up in it.
Yep.
It's a good indicator to look at, maybe be aware of, but it's
Hmm.
not a deal breaker.
Yep. And so the general rule when I talk about it, I mean, it's really, it's whatever you want it to be. Are you okay with selling 1 a day? Are you okay with selling 10 a
Mm-hmm.
day? Do you want to sell 300 a day? Whatever it is. I mean, to be completely honest with you guys, I'm okay if I sell 1 every other day of certain products, if I can get them easy and do it quick. If I can get a private label started in just a few days, especially if it's an item that my wholesale company I get some items from, they come out with a new product and I decide to just add that product to my line, and all I have to do is just slap a sticker on that one now, and it's already the same
Mm-hmm.
sticker I've had for all these other products. Who cares if I only sell a couple, every other day, whatever, it just
It's still profit.
it's still very profitable. It's very easy to get started. So sales rank, it's really whatever works best for your business. Whatever you're comfortable with. Lower the better if you want to sell more, but with private label, the rules aren't quite there as they are with retail arbitrage. A number of reviews. I do kind of have a little bit harder guideline on this
Mm-hmm.
when I'm looking for opportunities, because I like to stay away from competition as much as possible. If you get an item that the top 2, 3, 4 listings, so if you go to Amazon and you search for a potential private label product, and the top 2 or 3 competitors all have like over 300 reviews, then that's going to be very competitive, harder to gain traction in. You're just going to have to do a lot of work to get your product noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm looking for items that are under 100, under 50, because it's not hard to get 50 reviews pretty quickly. And so again, the lower the better. Get over 300 and it starts to become kind of very, very competitive. So examples.
You know what, Ryan, before
Yes,
you move
please.
on, I just
Yeah.
wanted to address Sonia's question, if this
Yes,
is mainly
please.
for the US or if it can be done in the UK, because I think this is a great question. And if you're not in the US, you can definitely do this
Hmm.
from the UK, and
Yep.
you can have the whole system automated and use a prep center that's local here, have your items sent there. I know the Bullards will work with you.
Yep.
So, so there's some great this is a great method for you, and I wanted to stop and just mention that
Yeah, I
because I don't
appreciate
want you to
that.
leave. I want
Yeah,
you to
yeah,
know
yeah. No, yeah,
this will work.
exactly. Yeah, I don't want somebody leaving because they didn't get their question answered or because they need
Hmm.
to go and didn't get what they need. So, guys, if you have questions, feel free to post them at any time. If it's in line with what we're talking about, we'll stop what we're talking about and go to the
Yeah.
question. A lot of them will wait to the end, but the way to do that is just next to your where you type your message, you can mark that little bubble. It'll mark it as a question, and we'll be able to see it easier. Yeah, Blue, I agree. Kind of a hidden sales rank of you stay between 8 and 10,000,
Yeah.
let you fly under the radar. That's a great strategy. And yeah, that's just I think that's a great way to do it. People don't mess with you. I have guys in my group that I'm my mastermind group that are on page 1 very often for their products, and they're dealing with competitor issues and people
Hmm.
buying their products and calling it inauthentic, and it's like, oh my gosh, if if you weren't on page number 2 all the time for all the main keywords, you wouldn't have to deal with that headache. I tell them, maybe you want to drop down to the top of page 2,
Hmm.
and maybe you won't sell as many, but in essence, you might sell more because your listing's not being taken down every 7 days, because of all these inauthentic claims. So there is a lot of really good advice there on that. Yeah, but thanks, Jenny, for saying that. Jason Tay is the example of somebody who lives in
Hmm.
Singapore. He has all kinds of products in the United States. He sells on Amazon.com. He uses prep centers to handle the actual prepping of putting the stickers on, and he does it from thousands and thousands of miles away. So this opportunity is for anybody anywhere in the world.
Yep.
So here's some examples of ones that I just picked out. I I doubt anybody in the group is doing this one, so I don't. Hopefully, I'm not outing your product, but this is totally somebody's private label. I can tell by the long bullet points. But this is just a silicone muffin mold and cupcake pan. Now, I am not a master chef, but I do know that people aren't probably, I think there's not like one single brand of muffin pan that everybody has to have. I mean, there's not an iPhone of muffin pans,
Right.
for example. So this would be an item that's generic, non-brand driven. The price is $9.99, so it's it's right at the lower mark. I probably wouldn't want it to be any lower than that for sure. But this is just an example of a private label listing. They're taking advantage of all the pictures, which is really good. It's a good first picture. Got the keywords up there, but a generic non-brand driven, that's what I wanted to point out here. So as you're looking for items, you already understand the sales rank and reviews, you know that, but sometimes people are just trying to figure out what's generic and non-brand driven, what's going to sell. We're looking for items that kind of like this, that you could take this out of its package and nobody would know whether it's the Amazing Baking Company's brand or Rock and Roll Products or whatever it is. They wouldn't know from what one company to the next whose product it is, unless it was like the company's name was imprinted somewhere like in the actual silicone. Amazon Basics Fade Resistant Cotton 6-piece towel set. Another example of a generic non-brand driven product. As far as I know, there's not like one single brand of towels that everybody's got to have that's the most popular. So towels are items typically people just go for, they'll feel it, go to the store and whatever is the least expensive. And so you could go, I guarantee you I saw tons of towel vendors at ASD and just walk up to them and say, I'm interested in private labeling your towels. And I want to take it out of your package, however it's presented, and put it in my own. And I guarantee 99% of them are going to be like, yep, that's totally fine. We don't care what you do with it after you buy it. So again, a very non-brand driven item, lots of variations here with colors. You can easily do that. That's a great way to add more items, guys, is just add variations
I was
to
going to
it.
say with that silicone, the example prior, there was just the two, the pink and the blue. And, that's a lot of women or people like their kitchen things to match. So look at the popular colors for kitchens right now and maybe see if you can get it created in a different color, a red or, or
That's
even
good.
Christmassy, red, green, whatever.
Yep, that's very good advice. And then, so here's just an example of what you can do. So I don't know exactly how these towels previously are going to come, but let's say they're in a box like this. I doubt that most towels probably don't come in a box, but let's just pretend the towels came in a box, or you just think they would be okay in a box, or whatever you're selling would look good in a box. But think of a poly bag too, and just those regular poly bags that you get at Uline that have the suffocation warning label on it are fine. One of my products is in a bag exactly like that. It has just a generic, regular Uline type poly bag that has a suffocation warning. The folks at my inventory team in Tennessee take the item, put it in a poly bag, seal it, and then put my sticker on the front. So you could do the same thing with a white box, a brown box, get a sticker printed with your logo or your label. You can just be very basic and just do a sticker of your brand name. And maybe you want the item name on there too, but just whatever. I mean, you're just starting small. You're not having to have a whole box printed. A lot of people think private label that you have to go all out and have a fancy box made with full color pictures, and you can totally do that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just very expensive to get started. You're just testing at this point. You don't even know that these towels are going to be, a great seller. And so why go to all the investment of starting and doing the hard way? So just get a big box and get a sticker printed at Uprinting. I don't think that maybe it's a slide after, but it's uprinting.com, capital uprinting.com or printrunner.com. You can have stickers made that go to like Fiverr. I have a designer that I use that creates a company logo, and then just get a sticker and put it on the front, either at the top or the side. Put it on all four sides if you want. But all this is just to show you that companies are cool with you taking their product and put it in your own box, your own bag, whatever, however you want to present it. A lot of people talk about doing gift sets. You can do a gift set like this. So, and this is even a bundling strategy. This is outside of private label, but it's okay if you're, the goal here, guys, is to get you to have your own listing, to not have any competition. So even if you decide to go, in a mentoring program, there's people in my mentoring program that their strategy is basically bundling. And so they'll get items from different wholesalers and put them in a box like this and call it, Ryan's anniversary set, whatever, your brand name with an anniversary set, your brand name with the, birthday gift set, whatever it is. They're using gift sets as ways to kind of differentiate themselves, to diversify and make it really hard for somebody else to come on their listing. So if you guys are out there and doing bundles or want to do bundles, and just the idea of private label is not something you want to do, then you can take a lot of the same exact strategies that we talk about and apply them to bundling.
Yeah.
Elliot, Pam, Vistaprint. Yes, you can totally use Vistaprint. I don't know if they do. They might do stickers. I'm not sure. I just know that. Do they? So yeah, that could totally be an option. There might be cheaper options than Print Runner and UPrinting. I honestly don't know. I just like them. There's
like a stickerguy.com. There's all kinds. You can find somebody local.
Yeah, my stickers don't cost. They're just like cents. I don't know the exact cost, but they're cheap. And they don't have to be huge. They can be small stickers. Yep. The one that's on one of my products, it's like maybe 5 inches by 5 inches. So it's not a big sticker at all. And just plop it right on the front of that box or right on the poly bag, and you got your own item. So this is just another example of something that you could do. This is a curtain, and this is something that we had from Retail Arbitrage a long time ago, and we still had it. I don't know why we didn't send it in, but so imagine that you found this product and you think, okay, I'm going to do private label curtains, and this, you think that this design is going to do well, and you go to the company, order wholesale, so you order just 12, 24, 48, whatever of these. The process for something like this is you literally just unzip it, and you're asking permission. You're not just doing it without their permission. Unzip this, take out this insert, have one made like it on, have somebody on Fiverr or some other designer create the design for you. You can copy this really almost exactly if you want. You don't have a different item name or different brand name because it's yours. You could use a similar picture. Honestly, I bet the manufacturer, the wholesaler wouldn't care if you use their picture. Then get to some of the same content here to help sell it. And I'm sorry that's so blurry. I can't even read it on mine. It's just a small picture, but just like kind of features and benefits. You wouldn't even need the barcode there. I wouldn't do this part here, but just get this made on Print Runner, UPrinting, Sticker Guy, wherever. Get an insert made, put yours in, and zip it back up. Put the Amazon label on it, and you're good to go. So there's the links to the places to get those made. Gene, do you teach bundling? We had a lot of, there's discussions in the Facebook group about bundling.
It's not really in the lesson so much.
It's really not, but we could totally talk about it. Yeah. That would be easy to do. I know there's people that are in our group that are very well versed in bundling. Christy's one of them, actually. Could probably do a whole webinar based on it. So Gene, if that's something that is a really big deal to you, and that's something that you would need, and you decide to join the mentoring program, just let me know. And guys, that's something I mentioned, I think, I don't know, maybe in my last, I don't know if it's an email or whatever, but that group is very dynamic, meaning if people like we had a private label webinar series where we went through all the lessons, and at the very last one of the sixth one of the 6 series, we were asking people that are on the webinar, what else do you want to talk about? What else do you want to know about? Some of the things that came up were Amazon sponsored ads. So we're going to do a webinar just about Amazon sponsored ads. They were asking about Aweber, a mailing list software for building a brand and building an email list. So we're going to get on there and talk about that. If it's a topic that Jenny and I don't feel like we can talk about ourselves enough to provide good information, we'll find somebody and get them on a webinar and bring the content to you. So we could totally talk about bundling. I've done a decent amount of that, so I feel like I could, but I know there's people way more advanced in it than me that I could get on there and do some bundling teaching.
That's a good topic. Yeah.
It is a good topic. And again,
Mm-hmm.
for you guys that are on here that after we go through what the mentoring program is and you're like, man, I'm just not sure private label is the thing for me, we'll teach bundling because it's still a great way to diversify and to be different than everybody else. It's not something everybody's doing. I mean, you hear about it, but how many people are actually doing the work of it? So I have no
Right.
problem for the folks that are in my group that are doing bundling as their key strategy to remain different. You could actually create a brand around, like I said, the gift set. So, let's
Mm-hmm.
say that I came out and I created Ryan's gift sets, and I have all different kinds of gift sets for different occasions, Easter, Christmas, Halloween, whatever it is. I could create those, and that would be my brand.
Yep.
I'm using other people's brands to create the bundles. But again, the goal is to have your own listing, to not have any competition. And so you could have a sticker made with Ryan's gift sets, and it'd be Ryan's Easter gift set. Whatever you could. There's so many ways to be
Yep.
creative. So yes, we would happy to talk about bundling. So guys, this is the private label mentoring program. This is something we want to, I'll just fly through this really quickly. These are the lessons: introduction to private label explained. Lesson 3, we talk about why private label should be a part of your business. 4, we get into developing your strategy. 5, we talk about determining your goals. 6, we talk about budget. 7, this is where we get into kind of the meat of finding a product. So we research a hot niche, narrow down to the product level. In lesson 8, we find suppliers. In 9, and guys, you've got a wealth of information just on this webinar. Contacting suppliers. 11, what to do if you need to source overseas. There's even an easy way for sourcing overseas, believe it or not. Number 12, brand name, logos, and packaging. We go in deep into that. 13 is placing your first order and crafting a killer listing. 14 is receiving your order. 15, getting sales and reviews. 16, maintaining inventory levels. 17, wash, rinse, and repeat. So tons of lessons.
Yep.
The biggest value, guys, though, is the private Facebook community where Skip's in there, Jenny's there, and I'm in there with other folks as well that are going through the lessons and have learned a lot, that answer questions. But the benefits to you guys: easily have your own private label product by Q4, no problem. Never-ending supply of inventory, literally no competition. You're immune to Amazon's brand restrictions. The lessons are step-by-step, and they have assignments. That's what I really like about them, is they keep you accountable, and there's things that you actually do.
And that's in the PDF lessons.
Yep.
There's also, we did a webinar series that goes through all the lessons as well. So
yes, because I know everybody learns differently.
yeah.
So I like to read a PDF. Some people might want to watch videos. There's videos in there as well inside the PDF lessons. And then we just went through a private label webinar series, and that's all on video. And we go through the lessons in the webinar format. The bonus, number 1, is you get a free copy of Private Label the Easy Way. The second one is 50% off the Private Label Wholesale Supplier Database. This is over 2,000 wholesale suppliers and over 1,200 private label suppliers. So there's the 50% discount, makes it $48.50 for that. The bonus 3, this is the one I'm really excited about, and we just added this into the group, but it's the 4 weeks. Christy Michelle is the one I did a webinar with, and she launched her own private label product in 4 weeks with under $100. So if I talk about the easy way method, hers is the easy, inexpensive way method, and that you get that as a bonus. So for anybody that thinks that that you can't have it done by Q4, just look at what she did, and you'll no longer be concerned. So you get that content. And then this is the super big deal that Jenny and I just finished this private label webinar series. So it was me going through all the lessons in a live webinar. We recorded it, so you get to the benefit of all the questions that people asked in the webinar. $9.97 value just for this. And
it's 6 modules,
it's
6 webinars.
6 webinars, easy 6.5 hours of content. So for you guys that want to watch videos, this would be the best way to consume the content. Almost $2,000 in value. Last year was $797 was the price for this when we launched the mentoring program, and it didn't even include all this extra stuff that we just talked about. For the first 40 people that take advantage of it, guys, that you get a 25 private label toy finds. And then Jenny, why don't you just say real quickly what all that is so they understand what the fast action bonus is?
Yeah. Okay. So there's kind of 2 levels of research. So one of them is you're looking on Amazon to find items that would be good private label contenders to resell on Amazon for that platform. And then once you've done that, you go and you look for suppliers. So there's that level of research. So the private label toy finds is a list of 25 toys that we have researched already for you on Amazon. So these are good contenders. They don't come with a supplier. It's not a done for you private label product, but it is a jump start in the research, and you get 25 of them. This particular list of 25. It will be unique to these 40 people. So 40 people will be sharing this list. So there, if you're concerned about competition, it's pretty low. Anyway, but I want to be clear that this is not a done for you list of 25 products. There is a lot of time that goes into research and finding the right products, but this will jumpstart your research.
Yep, absolutely. And then next is, so here's the crushed Q4 sale price. So it was $797 last year, $197 right now, and you get lifetime access to the group, lifetime access to the Facebook community. So if Facebook decides to quit, we'll find another platform to use this because the community will keep going. But this offer, guys, ends next Wednesday, September the 7th, and you get it for only $197, which after going through all the bonuses, I think that's a crazy good deal.
It is a good deal. It's such an active group. It is. You will get there with this, and there's a lot of accountability, and it's good.
Yep. And I just posted the offer ice on the chat, so you guys could be able to jump in there when you want to. My friend Joy Packard got into private label, and she is talking about how it's changed her Amazon business forever. Knowing that she has the ability to brand herself, can scale up, has just created endless opportunities and the ability to have financial freedom. So she's in the group and is a good resource for us. If you guys have questions, email me, ryan@ryanrieger.com. There's the link, and I'll post it. Both should be up on at the bottom of your chat, but there it is in the chat as well. So here, just to review really quickly what you get, and then we'll go to the last couple questions that we have. Get the book, Private Label the Easy Way, the webinar series that we just completed at 6.5 hours of content, the 50% off the private label database, so you get a jump start in finding suppliers. Get access to the 4 weeks and $100 workshop that I did with Christy, and she details her method of finding finding and launching a private label in 4 weeks and under $100. But the big deal is the lifetime access to the Facebook group. Of course, the lessons are all in there, and I'm actually redoing those. I started today, by the way, just uploading some new content to them. So there it is, guys. Jump in. It's available till next Wednesday.
The other thing I wanted to mention real quick, this database is awesome, but you don't have to have that. We have a few other resources that are listed in the group that are not a part of that. The database is searchable, so there's a lot of value there.
Yes.
But we do talk about other lists of private label vendors that you can go through, and there's links and lots of resources in the group outside of that. So
yep, absolutely. And like I said before, it's dynamic. So like Jean, where you're asking about, are you going to teach bundling? Well, absolutely. I'm happy to do that. And guys, just so you know my heart, I love helping people. I know those of you that know me know that. I really enjoy helping people start and go to the next level in their business. So even if we're in a private label group and you want to know something about retail arbitrage, totally fine. I will, and Jenny's the same way. We'll help you with whatever we need to do to help you get your business to the next level. I know that a lot of you that got those emails from Amazon saying that you're restricted in Adidas clothing, and you're like, oh man, that was a big part of my strategy, and what am I going to do now for Q4? I get it. It doesn't seem fair. It's frustrating, but we truly believe that private label is a way to totally adapt and move forward. And I think you're going to like private label way better than retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. It's a lot less hustle, in my opinion. And there's work to be done, and you got to learn the stuff. And there's work in the front end. But it's just a much more efficient use of your time, and I think it's much more scalable. And it's just a better way to run a business. I think it's just a better overall business strategy and a more long-term business than retail arbitrage. Not that retail arbitrage is a bad business model. It's great. I mean, it's awesome that you buy product for $7 and sell it for $50, or even buy it for 20, sell it for 40. Those deals are always going to be out there. So retail arbitrage is not dead, but you can see why I love private label.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the last question I have that I don't think we got to talk about. Lloyd asked, "What can you talk about private label and brand registry and the requirements?" So, Lloyd, I think well, I know that over the last even just like the last few weeks or months, Amazon's made it a little bit harder with brand registry. I got it really easy 3 years ago when the requirements weren't as bad. I think now it's a little bit harder, but there's actually Andy Slammon's a friend of mine who created a private label brand registry service. And so if that's something you're interested in, just email me. I can get you that information. I do have brand registry, and it used to not mean much. Sellers were wondering why in the world to even go through the process. But from what I've been reading, it looks like that now they make it so that if I tried to list an item that was your brand, Lloyd, and it was brand new, that I couldn't list it brand new, that it would restrict me from listing it brand new. I have to sell it as used, which of course would mean I probably wouldn't make a sale. So it does protect sellers now. And there are some requirements that like having a website, and I think your name needs to be like on the packaging, which those are easy things to get done. So guys, I'm sorry that it's 4:21 already.
Covered a lot of info.
We did a lot of info, a lot of stuff that we didn't expect to, but it's totally fine. I again want you to come away from these webinars and feel like, man, that was great content.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not you feel like this mentoring program is for you or not, I just want you to know that, you know, we care, and I always want to bring great content that is a blessing to you and your business. So
absolutely.
Anything else before we wrap up and let them get on their way?
I think you did great. I don't know if there's any other questions, but I posted our emails on there. So feel free to shoot us off an email. We're on Facebook as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, and feel free to email me if you have any questions. See ya.